Phyllis. Aline. Aline. Nice to meet you.
We need your cards on here. Leaf is found successfully yet.
So you might ask me. Yes.
Okay, is this already, is it already been another one?
It's been another week.
Oh, okay, I got it, but it's.
Okay, I think we got it.
Oh, I thought that's what it said.
I don't remember. Sorry.
Anyway.
Hi. Would you mind coming over here? So we have 3 and then we'll have 4. Awesome. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me okay? Or do you? Let me try the mic. Tell me which way you like it better. These guys might think it's better. Okay. Sometimes people don't like microphones. Which is better, like this or with me just talking? Microphone is better? Okay. Okay. Let me get the volume right so I don't blast out. What's your name? I don't want to blast you out.
Aline.
Aline. Okay. All right. All right. I think that's a good.
We've got a fourth coming, looks like.
Okay, great. Well, my name is Donna Compton, and I'm so excited to be here. I've done everything there is to do in Bridge, but my favorite part of any day is teaching. And I am lucky to do that 5 days a week on Zoom, and I think I see some Breakfast Club peeps here. We call ourselves the Breakfast Club. We bring our coffee mugs or our tea mugs, and we talk about a quick lesson for about 30 minutes, 9:45 a.m. Central to 10:15. So we welcome all of you guys to join us because we have a good time. A lot of the Breakfast Club people are starting to meet up in tournaments, so it's a social thing. We're talking about slam bidding today, and the topic is 3 keys to slam bidding, and it's 2 mornings. If you can't make it in the morning, it's okay. We're going to close it out today, but tomorrow will be a continuation of the discussion, not a repeat. It'll be new information. And today we're looking at the big picture of how to think about slam bidding, right? We all know the rules and you know, the Blackwood and how many points we need for slam. But what I want to talk to you about is the thought process. How do you know when to head to slam? What are you supposed to be thinking about when you head to slam? Okay.
Drink some water.
And then tomorrow we're going to break it down into detail and look at slam cue bidding, which will end on today, but I'm just going to touch on it today, and then we're going to spend tomorrow morning really looking at the fun deductive reasoning and the inferences and the assumptions and conclusions you can make while when you are in a cue bidding sequence. And I have a really fun story for you, but that's for tomorrow. Well, I'll probably have some fun stories today, but there's a cute cue bidding story for tomorrow. Okay, so big picture. You and your partner are sitting there, and your partner opens the bidding, and you have a huge hand. You have like 20 high crit points. And the first thing I always do when I'm face to face is look at the back of the cards to make sure I've pulled my hand out of the same board my partner's pulled their hand out of, right? Because it's like, you've got an open bid and I have 20 high crit points. There's only 40 high crit points in the deck. How is this possible? You've opened the bidding, partner. And occasionally I've found out that partner's got the wrong hand or I have the wrong hand. It happens. But normally it's like, oh, okay, well, let's see where we are, right? And we get all excited and we think slam. And our minds shut off, and the checklist we're going to build together this morning helps us get our minds started again so that we get to slam when we belong there, stay out of bad slams, maybe bid the grand if it's there, right? There's so many ideas to think about other than, oh my gosh, my partner opened and I have 20 high card points, right? So the very first idea is to ask yourself, and there's going to be 3 questions we're going to cover this morning. Ask yourself, does the partnership have enough points to be in slam? Right? So we know for a small slam we want like 33 to 36. For a grand slam we'd like to be in the 37-point range, but those are just high card points. There's more to it. There's more about your shape of your hand. In other words, when you have a balanced shape, opposite a balanced shape, you need more high card points. You need more like 34, 35 to bid a small slam. And when I'm talking about points, I talk in total points. So this is high card points and long suit points, or high card points and short suit points. If you're in a no trump discussion, you're both counting high card points and long suit points. Okay, long suit points, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, because we use different definitions, different titles for these, is you get 1 extra point for each additional card after the first 40 holds. And to give you the logic behind why you want to count these long suit points is that they're often tricks, right? Why do we count high card points to begin with? Well, we're trying to come up with how many tricks our hand is worth. And it's not all about the high card points. Even though in intro class, that's all we talk about. Actually, that's not what I talk about in my intro class. I don't even get to high card points until the 3rd class. But we focus on high card points for the first few years of our bridge life. And then we realize that we also take tricks through extra cards in our suit. And we take tricks through trumping our losers when we're in a suit contract. And so we need to have that in our hand evaluation to accurately determine whether we should move towards slam. Well, honestly, to move towards game and then slam, but this morning we're talking about slam, so I'm always going to be referring whether to move towards slam. And so, people go, well, maybe that 5th card's not going to be good, but I will tell you my 5th cards are often better for me, a trick, in other words, than random jacks hanging in my hand. And we all count our jacks because we want to bid more, right? We count all our high card points because we like to bid. That's what we do. And so if you are thinking, wow, I'm getting too high, I don't know if I can make this contract, if we bid it. Now, if partner's playing it, it's like, oh, bid them up, good luck, partner. But if we're thinking about being declared, we're like, maybe we should stay a little lower so it's not so hard to play that, right? But you just want to play all out. Especially, are you guys playing a lot of pairs here or Swiss here? Is this a mostly pairs group? Some Swissers, yeah. In Swiss teams, you, strategy-wise, you bid them up and you try to make them. That's your game try, okay? At match points, it's more about, oh, maybe we should be in game, maybe we should be in slam, maybe we shouldn't be in slam. And that's a whole nother morning at another tournament. But you want to count everything you've got in your hand so that when you belong in slam, you're in slam. Or at least you're moving towards slam. This morning we'll be moving towards slam a lot of times. Or we may find out that we need to sign off. Okay, so total points, 33 to 36, except when you're a balanced hand, you want a little bit more because you don't have as many tricks through long suit development, so you need more high card points to take the same number of tricks. And then for the grand, we say, the books say, around 37 plus, but that's not the rest of the story either. The rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, is that you need to be able to count 13 tricks. What do I mean by that? Well, literally you visualize your partner's hand, and we're going to do some visualization in the next 2 mornings to show you what I mean by visualization. And count your 13 tricks. You may have 38 high card points between your 2 hands. You may have 39 high card points between your 2 hands, but you don't have 13 tricks. Okay, So that's where we're gonna do a little bit of practice on that tomorrow with our Cuban discussion. And if you can't count 13 tricks, then you sign off in your small slam. So again, it's not all about those points, right? You don't grab a hold of the points and say, oh, I've got 35 points, let's get to slam. Or I have 38 points, let's get to grand, right? And so that's what we're gonna be looking more into today. So let's build a hand for South. You don't need the sheet of paper with the hand up yet. You can tuck that under your guide card. And then each table has a board. If you just take the deck of cards, and I like to say the cards tell the story, I'm just the narrator. I'm not gonna do anything exciting up here, so you really don't have to look at me. In fact, I did my makeup in the dark today, so it's probably better you don't look at me this morning. But let's build a hand on the table, at each table, and it's going to go to South. So you can put your handouts off to the side. The handouts are mostly for afterwards when you're back home from the tournament, you've got some nice music on, a bottle of wine, and you're trying to go to sleep. That's what your handout is for, okay? In South's hand, right, we need the king of spades and two little. King and two little. And this is gonna be South's hand face up. In hearts, the ace, the king, and a little heart. Big ace, king, and little heart. Diamonds are big ace, queen, and two small. And clubs are queen and two small. All right, and then put them in rows, like it's the dummy, like you're looking at a dummy. And what I suggest to you is before you ever count another high card point, I want you to recognize your shape in rank order. What this is going to do for your bridge game, just by simply recognizing the shape of your hand in rank order, it's going to help your bidding. Your bidding is going to mature. Your declare play is going to take a few more tricks. Your on defense, your partnership is going to take a few more tricks. It's actually about the shape of the hand in all aspects of the game, rather than those high card points. I do some exercises where I put the hands face down, which really drives everyone crazy because they want to count the high card points. But I'm trying to make a point. It's not about the high card points, it's about the shape of the hand. And so this hand, when you're recognizing the shape in rank order, so when I recognize the shape, I say to myself, oh, this hand is a 3-3-4-3 shape. You always want to do it in rank order. 3-3-4-3 shape. And that way, your mind starts to assimilate all the different combinations of the 4-3-3 shape. Now, this shape itself, we call the ugly duckling shape, because it needs more high card points to take the same number of tricks like a 4-4-3 shape would take. So somebody's counted these points by now. What do we have here? 18. Yeah, I knew somebody could count. I don't like to count high card points though. I'm glad somebody else does. Okay, and this is all your hand. And North, if you would pull the one no trump card out of your box, your bidding box, and put it face up on the table, like you're bidding. And this is the type of hand where you look to the back of the cards, right? Your partner's open 15 to 17, for group discussion 15 to 17, and you have 18. So you have to do a little math. The partner has 15, you have 33. So even if partner has a minimum number of points in their hand, we're in what we call slam range. That's the 33 to 36 slam range. And so our next question for this hand would be, what's my denomination? Because back to the very beginning when I said, oh, your partner opens and you have 20 high card points and you get all excited and your mind just goes out, right? And it says, let's bid slam. We bid 4-0 Blackwood or 4 clubs Gerber, and then partner answers, and oh no, what denomination are we going to? So before you head to slam, answer question number 2 is, what's the denomination of the contract? Just to slow your mind down. All of this is logical, right? We're just working on how do we think about approaching slam. And on this hand, with a 4-3-3-3 shape, we wouldn't want a stamen or puppet stamen, for those that play puppet stamen asking for a 5-card major, right? Even if the partner opens 1-0 and you want to do a regular stamen, 2 clubs, you would never stamen with a 4-3-3-3 shape. The benefit of finding the 4-4 fit has gone poof when you have a 4-3-3-3 shape, because there's no trumping value, right? The benefit of finding a 4-4 major fit instead of playing a no trump is that you can trump, eliminate some losers through trumping. But when you have 4-3-3-3, look at the hand on the table. It's going to be a long night before you ever get to trump anything. In fact, your trumps are going to be gone before you get to trump anything. So we wouldn't be thinking about puppet statement here because of the exception to statement. When you're 4-3-3, you don't use any kind of statement, any variation of statement. So our answer to which denomination would be no trump. Okay, so we're in slam range. We are going to play a no trump. Whether we get to slam or not, our denomination is going to be no trump. And then we want, on this hand, we'd say to ourselves, okay, we want to bid slam. Now on this hand, I would just bid to 6-0. I wouldn't go through 4 clubs, Gerber, or any other conventions you might play with your partnership, right? I just bid 6-0. And say good luck, partner. And let the opponents guess what suit to lead. Right? If you know where you're headed and you know the denomination, right? You know you want to be in slam, you know the denomination, and you don't need to know anything else, then you can just bid slam. And not give the opponent, the idea of, like if you go through Gerber, maybe we bid 4 clubs Gerber, and West here doubles for a lead. Well, before we ever bid 4 clubs Gerber, East was going to be on lead with no clues. But if partner gets to double 4 clubs for a lead, now they get off to a better lead than they would have if you just bid 1-6-0. Right? So you have that edge of maybe they lead the wrong suit when you do things like that. I'm not advocating jumping to slam on all bids, right? There are times when you need to slow down and go through your cue bidding sequence or go through your ace asking bids, whether it's straight Blackwood or king card Blackwood or 14-3, right? Whatever you like. But on this example, I just bid 6-0. And you might think, well, I'm missing 2 aces. But if we go back to the high card points, and let's say partner has 16 for their average, and we have 18. That's 34 high card points. And yes, partner could have a long suit point to get to 16, but hey, that's a trick, right? And 34 minus 40 minus 34 is 6. So you'd be pretty darn unlucky to be off 2 aces, is all I'm saying. Right? So you just go ahead and bid 6. Okay, wrap this hand up. And let's take a look at a new hand for South. And North, you're going to help me out by changing your 1-no bid to a 1-space bid.
Say that again?
North is going to change their 1-no bid to a 1-space bid.
Thank you, sorry.
Different hand, different hand. We're gonna build south a new hand, but north is gonna open one spade instead of one now. Okay, here comes your hand for south. In spades, we need the king and a little spade. In hearts, we need the big ace, queen, jack, and 2 small. In diamonds, the king, jack, and a little one. And in clubs, the big ace, jack, and a little one. I say big ace and little 8 because my ace is an 8 satellite. So if you hear the word big, that means big ace. The ace, jack, and a little one for clubs. Okay, so partners open a major. First thing I think about is, can I raise my partner's major? I like to play in majors. I tend to take more tricks when I'm in a student contract. So I like to answer that question first. And our shape, just to make sure we have the right hand on the table, is 2, 5, 3, 3 in rank order. 2, 5, 3, 3 in rank order. This is called the death shape. It's right up there with the ugly duckling shape, and that it needs more points to take the same number of tricks as any unbalanced hand or 4-4-3-2 shape. Now, the heart suit, I would call close to a source of tricks. In fact, if we take away a little heart and add the 9 of hearts, the difference between having ace, queen, jack, or 2 and 2 small, and having ace, queen, 9 and a small, is what we call a source of tricks. Who knew the 9s were so valuable, right? You do all sorts of fun things in the declare play with 9s. And so I love my hand, right? And partners open 1 spade. Let's change that from 1 spade there. Yeah, that's okay. And I ask myself, can I raise my partner's spades? Not yet. Right? Partner's only promising 5. I only have 2, so not yet. And so I'm thinking, well, how many high card points do we have here? 19. 19 high card points and then 1 long suit point. Are we counting? Okay, so we have 20 total points. And partners open the bidding. Now we generally default to partner having 12 to 14 when they open one of a suit. Because that's the frequency. Until we hear their rebid, we are going to assume they have about 12 to 14. So even if they have 13, an average of 12 to 14, we have 20, and that's 33. So again, we're in slam range. First question is, are we in slam range? Second question is, what's our denomination? And here's a perfect example of, we don't know. So even though we think we're going to move towards getting slam, we need to slow it down and answer question number 2, which is which denomination. So let's start off with 2 hearts with South. Oops, sorry about that. 2 hearts. If you're playing standard American, you're not in the game force yet, but you're showing 11-ish plus points, invitational values plus, and 5 plus hearts. May or may not have support for partners major yet, if you're on a 3-card suit. If you're in 2/1, you are in a game force, and showing 5 plus hearts. In either system, 2 hearts shows 5 plus hearts. Minors we use and abuse at the 2 level, right? But the majors, when we bid majors by responder, we're always showing a 5-card suit. That's just a good standard rule across the table. And let's say that North rebids 2 spades. Okay, so 2 spades is now saying, hey partner, I've got an extra spade. I've got at least an extra spade. I have 6 or more spades. Now in 2/1, that's showing any range of hand, right? In 2/1, the opener's rebids are no longer about their points, it's just about their shape. it changes the rules of openers rebids. In standard American, two spades would be limiting the opener's hand. If you had more, you'd have to jump at this point. One of many benefits of 2-over-1. But back to our topic today is, now South can answer which denomination. It's now answered because North is showing us 6 spades. We have 2 spades. And that's 8. That's what we go for, right? That golden bid. So over 2 spades, we want to move towards slam. Now let's see. Well, we need to set trump if we play key cards. So I'm going to stick a pin in that right now. If you play straight Blackwood, you could over 2 spades bid for no trump, and that would say, hey partner, how many aces do you have? Because on this hand, South has second round control of spades, king of spades, first round control of hearts, the ace of hearts, second round control of diamonds, the king of diamonds, and first round control of clubs, the ace of clubs. And so there's 2 no-nos to bidding Blackwood, or key card for that matter. One of them is when you have a void. That's not our case here. The second one, which is more frequent, is when you have a sorry side suit. And that's why I just went through with you. Before South can bid Blackwood, they have to check to make sure they have first or second round control of all of their side suits. Now spades are trump here, so we're not worried about the trump suit. We're not concerned about the trump suit. We're never worried. We're playing a game, right? You know, so we're not concerned about the spade suit, but we do have first round control of hearts, second round control of diamonds, and first round control of clubs. And so over 2 spades, we could bid 4-0. For those that play key card, you would have to set the trump before you bid 4-0. So over 2 spades, you could bid 3 spades to say, hey, spades are set, partner. Once a trump suit is set, either player can bid their key card. Whether you play Roman key card or 1430. Those concepts are in the same, it's just your responses are different, right? So on this hand, we would move towards slam because we're in slam range. We would move towards slam because we know our denomination. And we move towards slam because we have first or second round control of all of our side suits. Now how we move towards slam would depend if we play standard American or 2-over-1, so we're not going to dig into that at this point. We're just getting the big ideas how to think about approaching slam. Now what if, North, help me out here, instead of rebidding 2 spades, you rebid 3 hearts. Raise your partner's hearts. All right, now our denomination is set, and it's hearts. So South would go through, do I have first or second round control of all of my side suits? Yes, in this instance. And South could bid 4-0, whether you play straight ace Blackwood or key card, because the suit's been raised, right? 2 hearts to 3 hearts, the suit is set, therefore 4-0 would be key card if your partnership plays it there. But again, you go through, oh, are we in slam range? Yes. Do I know what denomination? Well, not yet, not at the beginning, but on the rebid, owner's rebid, it answers which denomination. And then we move on to the third question is, does the partnership have first or second round control of the side suits? In this example, I've been through it at least 3 times. And yes, we do, of the side suits. We have first or second round control of all the side suits. Okay, so we would go ahead and bid Blackwood. Let's say one more example. Instead of North bidding 3 hearts, North rebids 2 no trump. 2 no trump. So denies 6 spades, right? Because otherwise we would rebid 2 spades. Denies 3 hearts, because otherwise we would have raised 2 hearts to 3 hearts. Shows a balanced hand for the most part. There's some exceptions with 5-4-3-1 hands, but we're not going down that rabbit hole. So balanced hand. In standard American, if you show 12 to 14. In 2/1, it's a two-way bid, 12 to 14 or 18 to 19. Because you're in a game 4, so your 2-no bid can be a two-way bid. But at any rate, South now can answer the question of which denomination. We're going in no trump. We don't have a spade fit, we don't have a heart fit. Generally, we don't play in the minors unless we have a gun to our head, right? So we're going no trump. And in this case, you still check for first and second round controls. Now, because we are on the, if partner has the 12 to 14, right, and they have an average of 13, now we need to make sure we're not off 2 aces, right? So over 2-no, we can jump to 4 clubs for Gerber. Now, big idea on Gerber is it's got to be a jump. I see so many miscommunications with Gerber because one partnership thinks it's ace asking and another partnership thinks it's either a cubit or natural, and it has some other connotations it can be. And so it has to be a jump. So over 2-no, South could jump to 4 clubs just to make sure the partnership is not off 2 aces. And then sign off either in 4-no to play if they're off 2 aces. That's a bad day, right? Or with 6-no to play. We're not imagining the grand here because 1, we're not close to 37 points. We're not in Grand Slam range. And 2, we've got too many holes on this hand to be able to count 13 tricks. It's just, we're just not even if partner says they've got 2 aces. Well, let's see. What if partner answers, I've got 2 aces and 2 kings? We could count, well, I would count 5 heart tricks, even though technically the hearts could break more badly, but you always want to bid your games and your slams based on the odds of the hearts breaking how they should. You don't want to bid the other way. That's like the glass is half full. So I count 5 heart tricks. If I had the ace of diamonds, I could count 2 diamond tricks, that'd be 7. The ace of spades would give you 2 spade tricks, that'd be 7, 8, 9. And then the king of clubs would give you 2 club tricks, that's only 11. You can't even count enough to bid 6. But our requirement for bidding a small slam is, are we in slam range? Do we know our denomination? And are we sufficiently covered in the aces department, right? The grand is another animal. You have to be able to count 13 tricks to bid your grand. So on this hand, we wouldn't even try to get the grand. We just get our partner to say, hey, I've got at least 1 ace. Being off 1 ace is fine to bid 6. You just don't want to be off 2, right? Because they go, well, first they go double, and then they go cash, and it's, you know, partner's going, what do you do? Right? Okay, so that's the whole spiel about slow it down. Your mind's going to get excited when you know you're in slam range. And ask yourself, do I know where I'm going before you jump into your ace asking bids? Right? So sometimes it takes a little bit more time to get where you're headed. Now I've touched on the cubiting. So I just want to do a little bit more of that, and then, oh, we only have till 9:15, right? You know what? Let's pull out grab your cards back from South, because we're going to do a whole morning in the morning on cubiting, and I've talked about first and second round of cubiting at this point. So let's build hand number 1, your guide card. Build hand number 1 there. I don't know.
I'm just passing them around. I know some people well, just have it. No, that's yours. Yeah, the cards are still out. She's still in
Now, what I'd like you to do is tuck your right cheek back under your driver that is handy to fill. And turn the east-west arms face down. Then as a group discussion, I want you to live in north and south cards. Even if you're not sitting in that chair, I want you to be part of the discussion. How would the table fit the north-south card? And then once we've all had a swing at it, we'll do group discussion and walk through the thought process of the slam.
the way I would do it is spades, because I decided to do it, but either way. Spades. Don't have shirtless. So my interest is less than that. I'm gonna go for it.
No matter what your board says, your random boards out there, make north the dealer.
It's a good
No
number.
matter what your board says.
But if you go right to 4, to me it shows 12 or 13.
Like having more. Don't.
So when she said 3 spades, what do you think that
I
tells you?
changed, she's got
Yeah,
more
that
than 12 or
changes
13. Yes, it's not that bad.
Make sure, yeah.
So now I'm interested. So I guess I should be Cupid. So I would Cupid. Oh. I have a Cupid.
He has my card, so I have 2. So that if you could your diamonds,
Yeah.
so it can like
You would do your next rose. So you do it next. So I'll just say, all diamonds. And you say I'm interested in sign. So then you should say your cards. Your ace of cards. So I know you've got the ace.
So first I go, second I control.
Oh, it could be king. Could be king, protected king. So now I'm gonna use four nitro. Unless they were playing 14 14.
We got so we know it's spades. That's a good so I have 3 key cards.
Okay, I have one with the queen. So I'm just gonna sign up with 6 spades.
All right, looks like we're getting close to the end here. Why don't we take a look together? I see several different options going on. So we'll talk about them all. Within the time for the trains. Okay, so everyone opened one spade with North's hand. And then after that, it went all different directions. Let's start with Jacoby Tuno. is sort of how I designed this hand, but not all of us play Jacoby 2-0. So let's talk about it with the Jacoby 2-0, and then we'll talk about it with North bidding 2 diamonds, South bidding 2 diamonds, because that was the other avenue for this hand. So 1 spade, 2 no trump, to get everybody on the same playing field, is called Jacoby 2-0. It is a convention, it is alertable. And over the 1 spade opener, there are 9 bids for the alertable in response to 2-0. Just a big picture of 2-0 is, hey partner, I have at least 4 of your spades, and it's a major suit convention, so it only works over 1 spade and 1 heart. And I have game going values. You are in game, you cannot stop low game, but Jacoby 2-0 is a slam bidding convention. It's to find what we call fitting hands so that we can work on the 30-point scale, slam bidding. Instead of 40-point scale, we're trying to get to 33 total points. Once you find shortness in either hand, you're now working on a 30-point scale. And the 30-point scale, you want around 24 points. So it's much easier to bid slam on a 30-point scale than a 40-point scale. And that's what Jacoby 2-0 does for you. So if South bid 2-0, North would come back and bid 3 no trump to say, hey, I don't have a single turn void. That's true for North's hand, no single turn void there. We call North's hand a semi-balanced hand. And I have 15 to 17 points. It's part of the Jacoby 2-0. We won't worry about it too much. It's part of the Jacoby 2-0 system. And now look at South's hand. South knows the partnership's slam range. South has set the spade suit. Spades are set with the 2-0 bid. And now, South didn't know the slam range until 3-0 was bid, I should say. Once North showed 15 to 17, South can do the math and get to the 33. And now South looks for controls. So they spade suit out, it's side suit controls. They're missing the first and the second round control of hearts. So South can't bid Blackwood. That's one of our no-nos, is when you have a sorry side suit. Sorry side suit is when you're off the ace and the king, or you're missing the first 2 tricks in the suit. And so South has to go into a bidding sequence. And that's more of what we're going to do tomorrow, but just to show you how it works. South would start with 4 diamonds to show the ace of diamonds. And then North would say 4 hearts to show the ace of hearts. And that solves South's sorry side suit. South can now bid Blackwood. Okay, so the story I'm going to tell you tomorrow is how Blackwood and the Cupids work as a partnership, right? Just South knew the partnership belonged to Slam, and South knew the trump suit, but South didn't have the first and second round trumps and the side suits. And so South had to go into a Cupidding sequence until sorry side suit is solved. And then they can bid Blackwood. Okay, that will be enough for today. If you wouldn't mind, copy your cards back as reports. And we'll pick up tomorrow morning at 8:30 again. Going into this idea and looking at some other conventions that can help us solve our sorry side suit. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. Good luck at your tables tomorrow. Today. Tomorrow too, but today.
I told her she could do, I told her she could sign us up and it was 600.
All right, well, I learned something.
Wait, yeah. Oh, glad you found it. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
It's all pages.
Yeah, every single.
No, no, it's from pages 3 and 4. Because all pages put together. The Cupid is, oh, so it's black. So is this the elite group? Well, that's it. So we cheated. And no, not a elite part. We're in the big room and see anybody will do it. They're actually here, they're walking. It was. We got through the, and I had a microphone. So, yeah, I was like, you know, myself, I don't know if I would receive that. But, yeah, and we just set up so. Yeah, and I don't know, she's very for lunch. So we'll just leave it set up.
Christy and Jim will be back.
Great, they were awesome, yeah. We actually had 4 people.
Thank you, Christy.
Yeah.